was decent.
All right, everybody. Up next, we have mskain with Pool of Radiance. You are all ready, mskain. Best of luck to you.
Thank you very much. Welcome, everyone, to Pool of Radiance, the first officially licensed AD&D game to use AD&D rules video game in the history of the Dungeons & Dragons franchise universe. This is a game, very old game from 1988, MS-DOS. There's no music in the actual game. There are no sounds in the game I play because having even the primitive sound effects actually lagged the game significantly and would add an extra minute or two to this run, as short as it is. So we've turned off all the sound to make it run faster. I have background music playing from the NES port, because this was ported in Japan over to the Famicom to the Nintendo Entertainment System, and they made their own soundtrack for it because they're not going to have a game without music. So it's not going to fit perfectly, but it's better than running in silence. So in this game, we can recruit a party of up to 6 characters. We build 4. One of the first things to note is that our stats are maximized. The game lets you modify stats when you first create characters with the modify command, and that actually makes a big difference, especially because this game runs on first edition AD&D rules, which give you no benefit unless your stats are really high. And since the game lets us modify our stats to max, the purpose of it was so we could emulate our perfect tabletop AD&D characters. And I know that all of my characters definitely rolled all 18s and 18-100 strengths, and I don't have enough time to explain all the intricacies of some of the weird stuff if it's unfamiliar to your old system with exceptional strength and Thaco and other awesome old things like that. But we're going to go here. So it's going to be a little exploratory, and mostly everything runs on keyboard. I have to use keyboard commands in order to operate everything. So it would work on either MS-DOS, I believe. It's hard to say, but yeah, this is just an old game. We're going to go ahead and get started in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. So in this game, it takes place in the Forgotten Realms universe of AD&D, and we're on the continent of Faerun, north of the Moon Sea, in the city of Flan, which has had a history of being conquered by monsters, and now after hundreds of years, humans and their allies are trying to take the city back, and we're some of the adventurers who've come to the city to free it from the evil monster who's been ruling it. So first thing we have to do is go buy some equipment after we make the game go as fast as possible. And we have 2 fighters and 2 magic users. The magic users have 1 very small importance early game, and then mostly nothing. We buy just some barest weapons and armor to get us through the first portion of the game, and that's all we need. And I'm already losing a little bit of time by doing that, right? They don't actually, you need to spend an actual platinum, and the game has a very intricate currency system with copper, gold, and all the rest. Also, money has weight, so you can't pick up too much money. Now that we've bought our initial equipment, we also don't have to worry about buying anything in the game, but we do have to spend money on training our levels. We have 2 objectives in the game. One is our primary objective is to kill Tyranthraxus, the final boss. In order to do that, we have to get enough experience to beat him, level 4 specifically, and then we have to have enough magic items to beat him. Now, unfortunately, we did get a random encounter here. Even though we were surprised, we got to go first because this game is very weird about its turn orders. Now we have this tactical battle system. I use a sleep spell because enemies that are sleeping are helpless, and helpless monsters will be one-shot by any attack. It's pretty absurdly powerful in this game. So Magic Missile, the traditional first level awesome AD&D spell, useless in this game. You want sleep spells. Okay, did I give those to different people? I did. Good. All right, grabbing a couple of quick treasures here. Unlike most other RPGs, you don't get experience from... okay, that's rather bad. 2... Oh, luckily only 2 of them because I'm so low level. Good. I'm going to have to rest to get those spells back, though. Oh, blast. That was a bit of a mistake as well. These aren't too super hard, but they are definitely annoying. Or I might have to restart the whole thing over. This actually might be bad enough. Woo! Monsters rejoice, for the party has been destroyed. Awesome. Hooray for marathon luck right off the bat. Although that was a misstep for me, I ran into a wall, and running into walls in the game can be lethal. Did I save? anywhere, yes, right before going in, which actually is good. Being avoided by some lizardmen means that we can flee fine, and I did it again. I am making a marathon jitters thing here. Okay, let's get... I'm just glad that I saved before going into Kuto's well. Normally, this is a rather not too terrible of an area. Finally getting the luck there. We're almost to the final area. In order to sneak into the main castle, we find a wagon here. We kill the guy and take his wagon because that's the fastest thing to do. We pay these bugbears 15 gold and they'll let us through the gate, and now we can enter the final area of the game. We get some disguises here so we won't get any encounters. And then we go in search of the 2 big treasure piles that we really, really want. Although, first of all, my characters don't have any spells to cast, so I need to find a place that I can rest safely. So I'm going to go way over here, which I normally wouldn't, but I forgot to rest earlier. In an ideal run, you don't get any encounters until you reach this area, so you have all your spells. You have to memorize specific spells. You don't have spell points or anything. D&D has a very famous system working on those levels. So now we're going to save the game here before we take on these evil priests of Bane. We want to use the sleep spell because otherwise we have no chance of beating this cleric, and we got lucky by putting the important cleric to sleep immediately. Now we can one-shot these people, take their magical mace and plate mail, and most importantly, their magic necklace. This necklace is a very, very broken item. And now we just need to fight one more character real quick in this end area and take his loot. This harmless mage, I should have definitely saved the game before this, because he can, if he's very, very lucky, wipe us out. Luckily, I can change my equipment in combat, which is very good, because I forgot to equip it before. It's useful. Okay, he's taken care of, and that's one of the most dangerous parts of the run. Now we're going to take his Bracer's Ring and Wand. Don't really need his ring, but just it's fastest to take all of it. So now we're done with this area. Now we're going to go back to the beginning of the game, gain some levels, and prep for the next section of the game. In the wrong area for this. We flee from the guards now. They know that we're coming through the gate. We can't be traitors, but that's okay. Leave the city by this route. Now we're on the world map. Come over here. We can take a boat back to the civilized area. Come into here. We want to look at this wand and sell it. That just to make sure that our money is all sorted out. We have all the money we need over the course of the game. Let's go ahead and heal him. Hopefully that's enough. No, of course it was 1 hit point. Healing in this game is a little bit difficult, but 791, it's still enough. I only need 600, so I'm fine. Good. Alright, so now in order to train up our levels, we actually have to come here and talk to the specific training zones. Our wizards aren't going to use any more magic, so it really doesn't matter what we give them. We mostly just want them to have a few extra hit points so that they will stay alive. Our fighters, however, get a lot stronger as they gain levels. And now we're going to do some shenanigans. The game allows you to create and store characters in a file outside of every save game, and basically a party pool, so you can swap them between save games. And this actually allows us to multiply our equipment by giving it to a character who is outside of the party, putting him back in the party pool, and then see, now we have 2 necklaces of missiles. We trade both of them to him, remove him from takes us back to the beginning of the game. We load up the game we had before we gave him the necklaces, and now look, we have the necklaces again. For safety's sake, I'm going to go ahead and multiply out one more thing really fast. I'm going to trade these bracers to him, give to my other magic user. Alright, now that we have almost all the equipment we need in the game. There's one more item we need to go get, plus we need to get a little bit more experience. So our next stop is Sokal Keep. Sokal Keep, there are a number of various quests in this game that you can do, but luckily, for the most part, you don't have to do them in any kind of order. Only a few are necessary before others. But before we can take boats outside of the city, we have to go to Sokal Keep, which is the which is the lighthouse area. There's a ghost haunting the lighthouse, preventing any ships from going, as well as other undead. But we give them this password, they leave us alone. Now, Tyranthraxis has sent a big force to try and stop us from freeing the lighthouse, but we're going to use these necklaces of missiles, and these create gigantic fireballs that will blow up all of these huge swaths of this big, huge party here of orcs and hobgoblins coming after us. Yeah, very much working as intended. It's not really a glitch, it's an exploit, but it wouldn't be, you know, if you were doing a glitchless run, you wouldn't do it because it is definitely not entirely the way the game was intended. But they did want your ability to swap parties, so they never really fixed it in any of the other games. Now that we've done this, we can talk to the ghost, and we tell him that humans are taking the place back. We give him the password of Lux, which you're supposed to learn by investigating a site over here, but we don't do that in speedrun, we just know what it is. So now that the lighthouse has been... the ghost has stopped haunting the lighthouse, we can take boats to other areas, which is very important. We're going to go ahead and get our next level up here real fast. This is the council clerk. We let her know when we've done completed our quests, and she gives us a lot of bonus experience. Again, you don't really get experience in this game for defeating monsters nearly so much as you get it for finding treasure. And so completing the quests gives us treasure, which gives us a lot more experience as well. So that's why we went to those specific places in the early game. So now we're level 3. We are going to go to the Temple of Bane to find one more magic item. Let's see. Bay is where we want to go. Now we enter the southern part of the city. We enter this manor. There are some orcs here we need to kill really quick. Using our necklace of missiles, of course, because that's the fastest way to get through them. Luckily, we can avoid most of the monsters in this area quite easily just by taking a step backward. This is sufficient to flee from them. Okay, this is very unusual. I actually don't know what's going on here unless I went to the wrong place, which I can't imagine doing. Not that I'm super scared of this, because our necklace of missiles will fully allow us to... Okay, well, whatever. Okay, the game literally just did something entirely wrong. I've never seen this happen before. Talk about marathon luck. Alright, so that was treating the area, the temple, as if I was in the Northern District. So, for some reason, the temple is not loading properly. Okay, now it did. This is good. Alright, we're fine now. That's very weird. I've seen similar things happen before, but never had that one in particular happen to me. What we want here is this Dust and Wand. This dust is another super powerful broken magic item. Alright, now we're going to have one big battle against the guy who wants us to find the treasure hidden in the temple. This used to be a temple to a good god. I believe it was Ilmater. Might have been Lathander. I can't remember which of the good gods it was dedicated to. But now it's been desecrated and dedicated to the evil god Bane, the god of death and the monsters. And our mission normally would be to take a priest from the Temple of Tyr so he can rededicate the temple to the good god of Tyr. We don't bother picking him up, though, because it's slow. But we definitely want to come here because we really need this magic item to finish the game in a timely fashion. That's just basically the way speedruns work. Okay, so now we've dealt with everything in the temple. Now we can go home. Take the boat back. Luckily, we didn't take any damage in any of those fights, so that's handy. Just turning this in for a little bit of speed. She's giving us a few more quests, but we don't need them anymore. All we need to do now is defeat Tyranthraxus. Train up to level 4. Level 4 is... Tyranthraxus is an evil demonic spirit who is inhabiting the body of a dragon, and unless we are level 4, the dragon will breathe on us, will paralyze us just with his presence, and we don't want that, so we need to be level 4. This item is going to allow us to defeat him easily, even though he is normally quite dangerous. We take a boat over here to the other side of the city because it's faster, disguise ourselves as monsters so we can get through the plaza without a problem. For safety's sake, I'm going to go ahead and memorize a couple of these useful spells here, because I might run out of charges because of things that I'm not used to happening. Alright, let's hope that everything works out here. The bugbears let us through the gate. I've been having good luck with that recently. Sometimes they can see through your disguise and then you have to run away and come back again. So now we're back in the final area of the game. We passed through this gate with the password Rhodia. You're supposed to do a lot of quests to figure out the password, but if you know what they are, you can give it and pass through the gates at any point in the game. We have to go through this hedge maze. There are 4 entrances, and the only one to get to Tyranthraxus is actually through here. We have to go through a secret door, up these stairs, not down these stairs, but through this other secret door to the left. And finally, this is the final room in the game. And I forgot to multiply one of the items, but oh well, not a big deal. She'll just have to do nothing. So now we're going to use this dust, and this gives us improved invisibility. Normally in D&D, when you're invisible, if you do any kind of hostile action, like cast a spell or attack someone, the invisibility goes away. But the Dust of Disappearance gives you superior or improved, or whatever you want to call it, invisibility. So it doesn't go away. And now the enemies can't do anything to... they can't see us, so they won't approach. If we are next to them in melee combat, they will try to attack us. But if they aren't, then they won't. They're not programmed very well. All they'll do is sit there because they can't see any enemies. And so we can use these necklace of missiles to fireball them. Note that I have 2 level 4 fighters. These are 12 level 8 fighters with 87 hit points each. So this may seem unfair, but it's really only fair. Now, if I run out of... The necklace of missiles does have limited charges, so... because of the extra fights I got, I might run out of charges. I shouldn't. If I do, I have a couple of backups in the Stinking Cloud spell. I'm very glad that I gave myself a pretty good cushion for time on this. Okay, so we're almost done with this. He might... Okay, not going to surrender. They do surrender because of bad morale, which happened in an earlier fight as well, once they've taken enough damage or lost enough of their teammates. But it's a little bit random. So now that we've defeated Tyranthraxus' guards, he gives us the chance to join him. You actually have to answer for each individual character whether they are going to join Tyranthraxus or not. So we're going to, once again, he would love to breathe on us, but he can't do that because... I'm going to go ahead and cast a Stinking Cloud on him since it's there. It usually doesn't affect him, but sometimes can do something. Can debuff him so we can do more damage. And now we're just going to shoot him and wand him until he dies, hopefully. If we run out of arrows, then we'll run forward to melee, but we should be able to finish him off with all these powers. The game running on quick combat makes it go very, very, very quickly. Not having very good luck here. Yikes. But we took him out. Okay, we lost one character, but that's fine. Mortally wounded, the dragon roars, the spirit of Tyranthraxus flares up from the dragon's body. Yeah, you can actually do that, and each person who chooses to join ends up on is removed from the party and ends up on Tyranthraxus' side. But you have to select for each character, so you can make the final battle even harder if you want to. Yep, that is actually something that's happened in the last little bit. I started this whole... all the gold box runs all by myself, but recently there has been a new community that's risen up, and we made a decision on the DOS box speed for running this. It's twice as fast as it was when I first started running it, so That was new speed tech that gave me a lot of PBs. Anyway, we come in here, turn into the council clerk, and sorry, that's time. I should have been prepared for that. But once we get this reward for defeating Tyranthraxus, that's it. The game is won. We can continue doing a few things, but for the most part, our characters are done with this adventure. We can now remove them from the party and transfer them to the next game, but that's a different speed run. So, thank you all for letting me see this and tuning in to Decent Speedies and contributing to it. Thank you, Warwick, for letting me be a part of this and show this little game off. This is by far the fastest game that I run, thanks in part to the community that rose up. A year ago, my any percent PB world record was an hour and a half, and now through a little bit of tech found and upgrading the speed of DOSBox and a few other neat things, it's down to a very, very fast little D&D game. But that's pretty much all I have there, unless... Yeah, that's pretty much it for me then, if we're ready to move on.